Hey everyone, welcome back. You ready to dive deep into something super important today?
Always ready for a good deep dive. What are we tackling today?
Baby nutrition. We're using the ultimate guide to baby nutrition and diet as our main source here, and let me tell you, there's some really interesting stuff in here.
Yeah, baby nutrition is such a fascinating area, so much to consider.
Exactly. And it's relevant to so many of our listeners, whether they're parents themselves or maybe grandparents or heck, even if they're just curious about this crucial stage of life. I mean, who doesn't love babies, right?
Absolutely. And the more we understand about their needs, the better we can support them in those early years.
For sure. One of the things that really jumped out at me in the guide is just how critical that first year of life is for a baby's development, like way more than I ever realized.
Oh, absolutely. It lays the foundation for everything from brain function and immunity to bone strength and even future eating habits. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Right. So let's break it down a bit. The guide emphasizes that proper nutrition during this time can have a huge GE impact on a baby's overall health.
Yes. And one of the key reasons for that is the development of the gut microbiome. You know, that community of trillions of bacteria living in our digestive systems?
Yeah, the microbiome, I've heard it's like super important for our health in general.
Exactly. And in babies, it's still developing in those early months. What they eat, or what they're fed, I should say, directly influences which bacteria thrive in their gut. And that has a ripple effect on everything from their immune system to their digestion and even their mood.
Wow, I never realized how connected it all is. So let's talk about feeding options then. Breast milk versus formula. I know this can be a sensitive topic for some parents.
It can be, but the guide does a fantastic job of approaching this with sensitivity. It presents both as valid options and, ultimately it's about what works best for each individual family.
Totally. Like there's no one-size-fits-all answer,
All.
right?
Exactly. But regardless of which path a family chooses, understanding the benefits of each is key. Breast milk, for example, it's a nutritional powerhouse.
Right. Packed with antibodies perfectly tailored to the baby's needs.
Exactly. And those antibodies, they help protect babies from all sorts of infections. Plus, there's the bonding aspect, that skin-to-skin contact that releases all those feel-good hormones, both for mom and baby.
It's amazing. But, the guide also acknowledges that formula is a fantastic alternative when breastfeeding isn't possible or isn't the right fit for a family. Sometimes it's just not an option.
Absolutely. Formula has come a long way. It's designed to mimic breast milk as closely as possible, providing a complete nutritional profile for babies.
Right. Fed is best, as they say. What are your thoughts on how parents can navigate that decision-making process?
I think open communication with their pediatrician is crucial. A pediatrician can help address concerns, weigh the pros and cons based on the individual family situation, and ultimately help parents feel confident in their choice.
Totally. Speaking of choices, around that 6-month mark, babies start venturing into the world of solid food, right? That's a whole new chapter. What's happening in their development that makes this the right time?
Well, by 6 months, a baby's digestive system has matured quite a bit. They're much better equipped to handle more complex foods than they were as newborns. Plus, around this time, the iron stores they were born with start to deplete.
Ah, that makes sense. So it's all about timing.
Exactly. Introducing iron-rich foods becomes super important at this stage to support their growth and development.
Got it. And what about those first foods? The guide recommends starting with things that are super easy to digest, like mashed bananas or pureed sweet potatoes.
Yep. It's all about starting slow and gentle. And a key point the guide emphasizes is introducing one new food at a time, waiting like 2 to 3 days between each new food.
Why is that so important?
Well, it's all about pinpointing potential allergies. If a baby has a reaction when multiple new foods have been introduced, it can be really hard to figure out which food is causing it.
Makes total sense. So one at a time, watch carefully. I love that the guide also talks about building a rainbow plate for babies, like incorporating a variety of colorful fruits and veggies.
That's such a great visual, and it's not just about making the plate look pretty. Different colors often signal a wider range of those beneficial plant compounds, the phytonutrients. They have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties.
So it's like the more colors, the more health benefits, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You've got your red foods like tomatoes with lycopene, which is linked to heart health. Your orange and yellow ones like sweet potatoes and carrots, packed with beta-carotene, which our bodies convert to vitamin A for healthy vision. Green leafy veggies bursting with folate for cell growth and development. I could go on and on.
Whoa, that's amazing. It's really all connected, huh? Beyond those colorful fruits and veggies, the guide also talks about incorporating other important food groups, right? Like proteins and healthy fats.
Absolutely. Proteins are crucial for building and repairing tissues, especially those rapidly growing muscles. Think chicken, fish, lentils, beans, eggs.
Gotcha. And the healthy fats, those are super important for brain development, right?
Exactly. Things like avocado, olive oil, nut butters, they provide the building blocks for a healthy nervous system and support cognitive function.
Okay, so lots of good stuff to include. But the guide also has a pretty clear no list. And some of those items were a bit surprising to me, like honey. I mean, honey seems so natural and wholesome, but it can actually be really dangerous for babies, right?
It can be. Honey can sometimes contain spores of a bacteria that causes infant botulism, which is a serious illness that affects a baby's nervous system.
So that's a definite no-no for the under one crowd.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And another big one is cow's milk. It's actually tough on their little tummies before 12 months of age because that protein can be difficult to digest.
Wow, didn't know that. So what about things like salt and added sugar? I mean, those are practically everywhere.
Right. And it's tough because we're so used to them in our own diets. But for babies, especially in that first year, it's best to avoid them as much as possible. Their kidneys are still developing, so too much salt can be hard on them. And as for added sugar,
Yeah, I can imagine that's not great for those tiny teeth that are just coming in.
exactly. Sugary drinks and added sugars in general can increase the risk of tooth decay. And even beyond that, it can set babies up for unhealthy taste preferences later in life, making it harder for them to enjoy the natural sweetness of fruits and veggies.
It's amazing how those early habits can really shape their long-term health. So we've covered the no list. Oh, but about hydration. Once babies start solids, how do their fluid needs change?
Well, for the first 6 months, breast milk or formula is really all they need. It provides all the hydration they need. But after starting solids, you can start introducing small sips of water.
Just plain water.
Yep, plain water is best, especially between meals. And it's important to avoid sugary drinks, like juice or sweetened beverages. They can lead to tooth decay, unhealthy weight gain, and they don't provide the nutrients that growing babies need.
Okay, so water it is. But honestly, I can imagine getting a baby to choose water over like a sugary juice box is a challenge and a half.
Yeah. Oh, it can definitely be a battle of wills.
Yeah.
But consistency is key. The more you offer water and make it a regular part of their routine, the more likely they are to accept it. Plus, remember that whole modeling thing. If they see you sipping on water throughout the day, they're more likely to follow suit.
So true. The guide also talks a lot about making mealtime a positive experience, beyond just what they're eating, focusing on how they learn to eat. It's a whole different way of thinking about it.
Right. It's about creating a positive association with food and meal times from the very beginning.
So what are some of the key takeaways from that section?
Well, offering a variety of foods is huge. It helps expose babies to different flavors and textures and encourages them to be more adventurous eaters later on.
Gotcha. So variety is key.
Absolutely. And then there's the whole atmosphere of mealtime. It should be enjoyable and relaxed. No pressure, no forcing. Let babies explore different foods at their own pace.
It sounds like it's more about letting them lead the way, huh?
Exactly. It's about giving them the space to discover and enjoy food on their own terms, even if that means getting a little messy.
Right. And the guide also emphasizes the importance of family modeling. Like, if you're eating a variety of healthy foods yourself, your baby is more likely to be open to trying them too, right?
Exactly. Kids are little sponges. They pick up on our habits and preferences from a very young age. So if they see you enjoying a variety of healthy foods, they're more likely to develop a positive relationship with those foods as well.
Makes sense. And it's not just about the food itself, but about making mealtime a fun and social experience that everyone can enjoy.
Exactly. It's a time for connection, conversation, and exploration.
Man, there's so much to think about when it comes to nourishing those little ones. This has been incredibly insightful.
It really is. And, it raises a bigger question, too. How can we as a society better support parents in making these healthy choices for their babies?
That's a great point. I mean,
There.
access to resources, education, and even just affordable, healthy food options, those are all crucial pieces of the puzzle, right?
Absolutely. It's about creating an environment where healthy choices are the easy choices.
Well said. Well, folks, we've explored a lot today, but this is really just a starting point. There's so much more to discover about the fascinating world of baby nutrition.
And don't forget, every baby is unique. The best approach is always to consult with your pediatrician to get personalized advice tailored to your little one's specific needs.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and be sure to check back next time for another fascinating topic. See ya.
See ya.